Welcome to the Daily Fantasy Flex Podcast. It is the PGA edition. It's 2017, and we are back with the SBS Tournament of Champions. And that means, as usual, I'm joined by my co-hosts, Peter Jennings, a.k.a. CSU Ram, and Colin, Davy. Guys, how's it going? Colin, what's going on with you, man? It's been so long now.
I know. How long has it been? Like 2 months or something since we've all been in the same room or fake internet room, whatever we're calling this little hangout we have here.
Right.
How's everybody's New Year going?
Great start to week 17, and Bryan looks like he's living the dream over there in Hawaii.
Yeah, aloha. I can only assume that you were there to actually kick off our PGA coverage for the Sony Open next week, and then probably forgot that it's actually next week. Although we do have this week's slate is right next door, is it not?
It was in Maui, yeah. I'm not in Maui, but it's right here. So, yeah, I just got all the Hawaii golf coverage for you guys. This, just calling it work, I guess.
That's how devoted we are to nothing but the best here at FantasyLabs. We have our man on site.
That's right. Peter, how's this going with you, man? How was New Year's? How's it been going since we last talked?
Yeah, things are good. Had my second best week of the NFL season to start the year, which is always good. Takes a little pressure off. Starting off positive for the year. So that's nice, and excited that golf's kicking up. We're right in the middle of NBA, so it's just a great time to be grinding DFS, and excited for the new year.
Yeah, we got all sort of stuff going on. All the four major sports, I guess, would if you count NHL and PGA as the other two, with NBA and NFL going on at the same time. So a lot of interesting stuff. We're going to keep this, pretty short. We'll get back into the major swing of podcasts, and once we get into the bigger tournaments, this tournament isn't too big. There's only about 25 players, and I'll hit on the guys that have withdrawn, but it's just a small little nice tournament to get us back into the swing of the PGA season. It's been the 2017 season for a while now, just because of how their calendar falls, but we're officially in 2017, pretty star-studded. We have the top guys at the top in Jason Day, Dustin Johnson, all these guys. But overall, pretty small field and just a nice little tournament here. So we'll keep it relatively short and run through these. So, just starting off, I guess we can just briefly touch on, again, how do you deal with a 25-man tournament? Do you change strategy? Colin, I know we discussed this. Is any new thoughts, or is it sort of the same old of, it's hard to distribute exposure in tournaments?
Yeah, I think this is it's so small that it may be an open question. Maybe in a year or two, it's impossible to play this thing profitably, just because there's going to be so much overlap between lineups, or you have to take real big risks. I'm kind of treating this week as just kind of a way to get back into the swing of things, from hiatus, just kind of check on who's done what lately, get back into the swing of things, but just kind of a refresher. But yeah, I think the ultimate answer is just make this a lower volume week. I think that's true both for the pros and for the casual player. Pete, if I had to guess, I'm guessing this week will be definitely lower volume for you, even relative to what's available.
Right? Oh, yeah. Definitely lower volume, still playing some cash games. I do have a 5K Thunderdome up, which I got in, but outside of that, that's pretty much the gist of it. I do think there's a couple guys who are intriguing, and I'm just excited to have a golf sweat again, but not playing an insane volume. And if I was playing a bunch of tournaments, I'd actively be trying to leave some money on the table to try to differentiate with some lineups, but it's just a really tricky week.
Yeah, I actually was wondering what your number is. What is the most money that you would leave on the table for a 25-man versus a 70-man versus a 140?
I mean, I might leave up to 1,000 on the table. I think that leaving between 500 and 1,000 is probably close to what in my mind would be optimal. If I'm playing a bunch of tournaments, but I have no idea how accurate it is. That's just what my gut says. I think leaving a couple thousand on the table is probably a mistake, but I guess I could be wrong there.
Yeah, and I mean, in a 25-man, obviously depending on, exactly who you're leaving off or who you're fading, depending on ownership, I could see this as require aggressive as leaving 2,000 in terms of optimal. But I don't know. I'm not going to worry about this too much. We get this weird 30-man slate maybe twice a year.
Right.
This is just a refresher.
Right.
Let's save our worrying when we get into real tournaments next week. Sound good?
So by optimal, I guess, yeah, no, that sounds good. By optimal, you mean sort of like getting exposure to a unique lineup while also optimizing. Yeah, I think once you get above 1,000, like you're not really getting a unique lineup. Like it's you're going to be unique at like 1,000. So anything more than that, like 2,000, you're still going to be unique, but you're just a whole lot less optimal as far as your plays go.
Yeah.
Diminishing returns. But yeah, I mean, it would be interesting. So anyway, so let's get right into the plays. We'll keep this short, but we'll talk about some of these top guys. Of note, I want to just quickly run through the guys that have withdrawn from the tournament. That is Adam Scott, Danny Willett, Henrik Stenson, Sergio Garcia, Charles Schwartzel, and Rory McIlroy. So a lot of stars that have withdrawn from this event, but we still have a ton of guys up here. We talked about Spieth and Dustin Johnson. I think it's really interesting, actually, because we have a lot of guys who have either played really, really well at this tournament in the past. So we have a sort of elite course history guys. Jordan Spieth is a defending champion. Patrick Reed has played really well here. And then we also have guys, Matsuyama might be the hottest guy in golf right now. And Dustin Johnson obviously had a great 2016. So we have a lot of guys who I think are worthy of rostering. So let's get right into it, fellas. So we'll start with our tiers, and it's going to be a little bit smaller this week just because of the lack of guys. But we'll go through, the bottom up to, let's go through 7-5, which is going to be William McGirt. So we'll leave your Brendan Steele pick for the next tier, Colin. So the bottom guys up to 7-5. Colin, who's standing out in that sort of lower tier for you?
So there are a couple names. I mean, just because it's still slim pickings at the bottom here. Let's see, who do I have here? Absent all else, and I guess I'll do a brief note on course fit. I have this rating out as kind of a bomber course that's consistent with Hawaii courses in general. It's a decent course fit, so definitely your long hitters for sure. On that note, the course fit in this range, who I like the most in course fit, is probably Billy Hurley. I think he has the requisite distance as of late that I don't hate that pick. If you want to go more course history, if you're that fan, like Fabian Gomez is probably your dark horse in the under 75K range. Probably the best course history of anyone. Like if you look at it relative to his ability, he's right up there with Jordan Spieth, who won this thing last year, and Dustin Johnson. I really like his kind of body of work. And then if I want overall, I'd probably go Charlie Hoffman here. And that's just because, this is another long-term adjusted round pick, essentially, where he has a lot in there, and it takes a decent drop to get him to 6,300. But he is a real golfer, as we've seen, back when he was in the 9K range, earlier this year. If you still believe that kind of has a long-term value, then I think 6,300 is a little cheap there. Decent volume, essentially, so you know what you're getting. So between those three, if you're looking to fill out the bottom half, those are my favorites.
Yeah, I think Fabian Gomez will be the highest owned of all these guys. A couple other guys you didn't mention I think are interesting are Brandon Grace and Jason Duffner. I think my favorite play probably overall in the range is Fabian Gomez, just straight up. I was playing cash games, but again, I think he'll be pretty popular. Billy Hurley's certainly interesting, but the other guys just on name recognition and their quality of golf, I think Grace definitely has the upside, and Jason Duffner as well.
Yeah, that's definitely fair. So yeah, Colin, I completely forgot. I skipped over my notes. So yeah, if you're curious, this tournament is in Maui. It's in Hawaii. It's a par 73, so definitely favors the Bombers. It's a little bit longer. And then, like I mentioned before, Spieth is the defending champion, but guys like Jordan Reed have played well here. So just a little bit of a history there. Pete, I'm curious, and you're a guy who really favors recent play, maybe more so than Colin, something that you guys have battled through last year. At the beginning of the year like this, where guys have sort of taken off, we've had, a month and a half, 2 months off. How do you deal with recent play data? Do you just look back at that, or do you take the 2 months off as sort of resetting things for you?
Yeah, it's pretty much a reset. And I want to lean more towards long-term stuff in general. And that's something I think I learned a lot from Colin last year. But yeah, trying to find the, guys who've been striking the ball well recently certainly is more challenging. But there's still some stuff you can take from the end of last year. We'll talk about the high tier. I definitely like one guy more than anyone else, and he'll be popular. But Yeah, it's tough because we don't have as much data, but that's why it's fun to pay attention here, and we'll see what happens.
Okay. Well, let's get into our next tier then. It is going to be, because I definitely want to save as much time as possible, just because we have so many studs here at the top. So I definitely want to give us time for that top tier. So let's go through the next one, which will be this middle tier, which will be the 7-6 up through 8-9. So Justin Thomas will be the last guy. So sort of a short little mid tier. It's a pretty wide range in terms of salary, but there's actually not that many guys here. So it sort of sets up where, DraftKings is sort of trying to get you to go stars and scrubs here. But, maybe these guys would be intriguing just because they'll be lower owned, because most people will go that route. So, we'll discuss these guys here. Pete, I'll start with you on this one. Brendan Steele through Justin Thomas, that range, who's standing out to you?
The guy is ranking the best is Snedeker, but I'm not sure I love him here. If you're going to take the Bombers angle, I certainly don't mind Finau. Berger's another guy in this range I think is interesting. So I do want to play Berger when we get into the Florida swing quite a bit. That's where he's from. So we'll see if he can start off well. But, yeah, this range is tough. The guy that I'm going to definitely name is Russell Knox. I mean, he's not rating well in my model, but I'm a huge Russell Knox fan. So that'd be my favorite overall guy here, but I don't have any strong opinions in this range. I do think that it's kind of tough. Snedeker, I don't know. You normally want to take him on a course where it's really going to favor putting, and these greens are relatively slow and big. So we'll see. Curious who Colin has ranking out well, but yeah, I guess Knox is probably my favorite.
Of note, and the Snedeker call is an interesting one. Of note, of the guys that have played this course 3 times, Snedeker is the best course history. So
yeah, that's why he's popping in my model. I have course history for 35 out of the 100 points. So,
Colin, what are your thoughts on these guys?
Yeah, I just want to agree with the theme of I just don't like the range here, period. Bryan, I agree that everything is leaning towards stars and scrubs if you're just doing blind, give me the most points possible. I agree that Snedeker is probably the best course history in the whole field, much less the tier. But everyone else, just about everyone else has pretty garbage history. The only ones that passes for intriguing are, like Pete said, with Berger and Finau, because they have none in their Bombers. So that's almost just because everyone else is so bad on this course, that's almost what passes for a positive. And that includes Russell Knox, by the way. I mean, I'm going to disagree with you on Russell Knox. Probably for
I'm not saying he's a good play. I'm just, I got to stay.
Right, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
I'm bullish the only other Knox this year. I'm taking more Russell Knox this year, so take that.
You could have done Russell at the start of the podcast. Yeah, I could have guessed that would be yours for sure.
Yeah, your boy Steele has the most garbage history. He
is, and that's why I have to I don't love him this week. It's just it's normally I like him when he's a little bit cheaper anyway. I think they're just better values in the tier below. The only guy that I'm interested for a couple reasons in here is Jimmy Walker.
Yes, guys.
To fade Jimmy Walker. I'm normally so down on him, but it's positive course history here, just more you can say for anything else. He's a bomber. And then so what? His calling card is next week, right? The Sony Open in Hawaii. He dominates that tournament, right? So is there something about Hawaii in general, do you think, or Hawaii courses, or something that favors wide open fairways and winds, and if it dies down, he can nail it? How much of the Sony Open do you think translates to transferable skills here? And what is that? Is it course layout? Is it state? Is it he's feeling the Aloha magic? Seriously, I think I'm just
fairways are pretty wide here, right? I guess normally the big issue with him is just driving accuracy is not
he's fantastic, but it's not fantastic.
Yeah. In fact, it's downright awful. But yeah, I think the wide fairways is a big thing. They have a lot of tourists down there. I'm not totally sure how much Sony Open lines up with in terms of the wide fairways, but I know this course specifically has really, really wide fairways. So I like that call. I was going to mention him too, but yeah, I think most roster construction is going to go stars and scrubs. I do think that he's a reasonable play though.
Yeah, I have to bring up the Hawaii factor, especially with those turtles in the back of Bryan's camera right now. I'm just feeling so festive and islandy with this setting.
Oh yeah.
And maybe Jimmy is as well. I mean, he really does have a good course history. I mean, he has a adjusted round of 69.3, which is one of the best of people who have played a couple rounds here. So he has a history of doing well here and the Sony, so something you can't discount. Cool. All right, well, let's move into this top tier, and we'll sort of hit on each of these guys. So, Colin, I'll start with you. This is going to be obviously the tier with Bubba up through Jordan, so it includes Bubba Watson, Patrick Reed, Jason Day, Matsuyama, DJ, and Spieth. And like I mentioned, a lot of these guys I think are viable plays. Spieth has, the elite course history here. He has a second place and a win, and crushed it last year. He is coming off a win as well. He won the Australian Open, I believe, and we know about DJ's 2016. Matsuyama has won, I think, like the last 100 tournaments he's been in. He's been hot. Jason Day is withdrawn from the last tournament that he was in here at this specific tournament, so we don't really have course history on him. But a lot of intriguing. Like, you could sort of talk me into any of these guys, which sort of makes it intriguing. Colin, where are you leaning at this top tier?
So the one that is screaming to me, it's screaming. No, it's straightforward. Jason Day, the chalkiest chalk player, like shockingly the best overall player on the planet. Pound for pound is like sub 11K. And I know why. It's because, like, if you look at his, year-end results, he has 2 withdrawals, right? There's massive injury risk. Like, coming back to injuries, like the default way of dealing with that is just like you basically exclude them or you maybe discount them. When it's this smack dab and consecutive withdrawals, I understand why he's priced low, but like he's just going to pop high otherwise. And this is like, I swear we've all talked ourselves into Jason Day under similar injury concerns, and he's burned us before. Wasn't it one of the majors this year?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And in the DraftKings final, I played him on one of my teams for the survival style in the championship, and he withdrew.
I swear I was not slow rolling that. I forgot that. So, sorry.
No, that's all good.
but it's another similar case. So, that'll be your first question I kick to you as far as, like, Pete, what have you learned since the last time that, Jason Day boned you? The other guy that, like, the sneaky course history here play here, I think, is actually Patrick Reed over Jordan Spieth. I think Spieth will get a lot of credit just because he won this thing last year, and it's the first thing people look at. I think Reed has a little better course history. I definitely prefer him to Bubba Watson on pretty much all fronts if you want to kind of go a little more balanced. And outside of that, like, I don't know. Like, I still probably go DJ just over, like, Matsuyama for just raw distance. And that is essentially, like, reflecting, if you were to go Matsuyama over me, it's probably basically like long-term distance versus recent GIR, or just like recent performance, and where we're apart on that one. So yeah, pretty much Jason Day with an asterisk and Patrick Reed are my favorites in the range.
So on Patrick Reed, it seems like Spieth got a big bump in salary, and he's the highest priced guy here over those studs. He got a big bump in salary because of the course history, but it seems like Patrick Reed didn't sort of get it. Or do you think that's fair for him, Colin? Do you think 9.5 is fair for Patrick Reed? I mean, because you're right, it is just as good as Jordan Spieth, but Jordan Spieth is way up at 5.
He has a 1 and 2. Reed has a 1 and 2, exactly, and a 16 to boot. Like, if you want, tie goes through.
Yeah, so it seems like Patrick Reed's just a really nice value at 9.5.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah. So, Pete, I'll kick to you. You guys were in harmony at the beginning of this podcast, saying that you were going to lean more towards long term, and Colin has said that he's going to lean more towards short term. You guys were going to agree, and then he goes with the long term guy, Jason Day, and you immediately shout Matsuyama, who's as hot as can be right now. So,
give me all the Matsuyama here. I'm going Matsuyama, and I actually just pulled up some live odds right now. We're recording this here late on Tuesday night, and Jimmy Walker is the other guy. Going back to it, his odds are outrageous relative to some of these other guys, so maybe I'll have to go back and take a look at him a little bit more. But yeah, Matsuyama currently the favorite right now. I mean, he's playing out of this world, and if you look at a lot of these shots, it's going to require it's an easy course, but the guys who do really well have really good long irons, and Matsuyama is, in my opinion, the best ball striker in that range. And the reason I'm so high on him is I really think he was injured for a good part of last year, and a lot of people were pointing to that. He had a hip injury, and once he was cleared and totally healthy and came back, I mean, the guy just got unbelievably hot. So he's had really good course history relatively as well. He's only played, I think we only have one count here, but I still think that's give me Matsuyama. I mean, he's a good par 5 scorer. The only thing that you can really say about him relative to these other guys is the lack of putting, but I don't think putting's as important here. So I'm going to load up on Matsuyama. I think Spieth will be more popular than him anyways. So, just give me all the Matsuyama. I do think Jason Day is really interesting for tournaments. If I was playing, a lot of tournament teams, maybe I make a stand and just go like 100% Jason Day. But, just straight up, I like Matsuyama this week.
Yeah. Matsuyama's last 5 tournaments: first place, second place, first place, fifth place. That seems pretty good. I
do want to do a player models asterisk really quickly. I guess like 2 of those are on the Japan tour, and like yes, there are wins on the Japan tour, but like recent is not necessarily geared towards like the big hitters like playing third tier, and we try to adjust with that for field strength as much as possible. But like there is room for a discount. I just have to provide the dissenting voice of data here.
No, for sure. Yeah, I mean, you look at some of these results. I mean, you can't get too excited about whatever the I don't even want to try to butcher it, but the Japan Masters essentially and the Japan Open. I mean, those tournaments are they're third tier, and if he didn't win those, it'd be alarming. So I do think that there's a lot to like here, though, just in general from where he kind of turned the corner. With the injury. So that I'll be buying him. I think I'll really like him for the Masters as well this year. He's just a guy that I'm really high on coming into this season. I think he's going to be in the conversation with DJ Day, Spieth, all these guys is one of the best golfers in the world. So I will be buying him early. We'll see what happens.
Colin's just a hater. So one thing, Jordan Spieth had mentioned that he really believes, last year in this tournament, he had his putter going. He was first place in strokes gained putting, and he really believed that sort of getting started the year, getting his putter right in preparation for the Masters was really important to him. And he mentioned that in an interview, and that's why he sort of approached this tournament. So it made it important in his mind as a gear towards the Masters. So, I mean, Colin, like I know that you hate this sort of narrative with Jordan and his putter and when he's actually going to care about it. But I mean, it's interesting because like you can't deny that he believes in it, right?
Yes, absolutely. But like I can deny that, like what is predictive out of sample, like that one can be proven. So
that sounds like
I get the feeling that even I'm still on the wrong end of this, and I acknowledge it. But like A, the die is cast at this point, and B, like even if I believe it, like I'd struggle to know what I'd do differently from a data perspective.
How is Matsuyama rating for you, out of curiosity?
I mean, he's up there. Like I have him.
Who do you have higher? Who in terms of points per dollar, Spieth or Matsuyama?
Like Matsuyama by a sliver.
Yeah.
Only because I mean I think we were all there. Sorry, what's up?
You have DJ ahead of those guys right now?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so we hadn't discussed DJ. So what are you guys' thoughts on him? We discussed Matsuyama. Day seems just sort of relatively on a price to those guys. Spieth is the history. Reed is the history. DJ is in that weird middle ground where he's not quite as hot as the other guys, and he doesn't have the course history as the other guys. So do you think maybe, like we're just sort of looking at ownership, is he going to be one of the lower ones of sort of the top 5 here?
I mean, it depends on what format, obviously. Like if it's GPPs, like maybe enough people take a flyer in Day. Like I don't know. I struggle with that one for sure. I don't know. I haven't been burned as much by Jason Day. So, Pete, you never gave me your answer. What have you learned the last time since you got burned by Jason Day?
No, I mean, dude, gotta love Jason Day for tournaments, but if you're playing cash games, I do think there's some merit to fading him versus these other guys if you think it's really close, just because his withdrawal likelihood is way higher than any of these other guys. And if you play a no-cut event and your top guy withdraws, you're drawing dead. So I don't know. I still don't think it's still not very likely that he withdraws at this point. I mean, when he withdrew last time, he was dealing with all sorts of issues. So, I think that he's probably okay. But again, I for cash games, I think you got to go with someone else just because there's a little more likelihood that he would draw as relative to these other guys.
Pete, where would you put the popularity of these guys? I mean, Spieth, you think would be number 1? Would you put Matsuyama number 2? It's just sort of ownership. just because of his recent play. And you think Bubba Watson will be really low owned just because of he's so close to these other elite guys?
Yeah, I'm not really sure how ownership's going to break down. I think Matsuyama will garner quite a bit. I think Spieth will probably be number one, but yeah, I'm hoping less people are on Matsuyama, but I'm probably wrong on that. Outside of that, I think you'll see lower ownership on Dustin Johnson. I think Jason Day will be interesting. And yeah, I think Bubba Watson will probably be lower owned than Patrick Reed, especially after everyone watched the Ryder Cup and Patrick Reed was so great. And a lot of people playing this will probably be looking at course history. So I do think Reed will take a lot of the ownership at that price point. So yeah, I like for ownership, if you're just playing GPPs and trying to game theory, I think the best plays are probably someone like DJ, Bubba Watson. And then it's harder to know. Maybe Justin Thomas will be low owned out of like the mid-tier range. So maybe that roster construction would be, more contrarian. But yeah, it's hard to say. I do think Spieth and Matsuyama will probably be the most heavily owned.
Fair enough. Okay. Any last thoughts on this upper tier? Do you want to just we promised to keep it short in preparation for the upcoming season. I guess we can make our picks. Does that sound good for you guys?
Yeah. So we get 6 picks total out of 24 people. If one of us doesn't win this thing, that would be shameful.
Yeah. So I guess let's go any guy, and then the next guy has to be below that top tier. So it has to be below 9K. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
And we'll do a snake draft. So
yeah, as always. Yeah.
Colin, you want first pick?
All right. I don't think I've had first in a while. As much as I want to pull the trigger on just the high number in my, I don't know. I'll stick to my long-term guns and go DJ.
Okay, you want to go second or last, Bryan?
Yeah, I'll go now. I will take. I can't take Matsuyama from you. I'll take Jason Day.
Wow, you guys both leave Spieth on the thing? I mean,
yeah, no, I'll
take Matsuyama because of what just happened, but yeah. I'll take Matsuyama and I'll take oh boy, I'll take Snedeker.
Oh, okay, I thought you were gonna take Walker, so I'll gladly take him. Yeah, I'll take Jimmy, so you can finish this up, Colin.
All right, you took Jimmy?
Yeah.
Oh, that's mildly disappointing. All right. I'll go Finau, the most intrigue of the whole thing. Sure, he's a bomber. I'm good to roll with it.
You got some distance on your side. You got Finau and DJ.
Yep. No,
do you prefer Finau or Jimmy, Colin?
Jimmy.
Yeah, I think it's Jimmy for sure.
Cool. And so maybe we're getting higher on Jimmy. I think as the podcast progresses. So
cool.
Just to give you a point of reference right now, looking at something I think is relatively accurate, or at least efficient lines. Jimmy Walker's 25-1. Everyone else in that range, like Finau's 40-1, Duffner's 55-1, Brendan Steele 55-1. Ryan Moore, someone we didn't talk about, I guess, is 30-1. But yeah, Jimmy Walker definitely ranking the best out of those guys.
Interesting. All right, we will end it there. Thank you guys for listening. We're definitely excited to be back for the 2017 season with the tournament champions, and then we'll obviously get these back regular on a weekly basis as the season starts, and we have a bunch of majors and awesome stuff planned ahead, and some upgrades to our tools and stuff like that. So stay tuned, and thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you guys next week.